Hey, that picture of Glenn Jacobs with Lauren Boebert, you think he said, hey, I know your dad?
Well, that's another conversation.
do you think he said that, or do you think he said, I know the guy that could have been in the Midnight Express. He actually works in my wrestling school.
All right, since we're just spilling our guts on various things here today, let me tell you an interaction that I just had yesterday, and then when I just saw that. Because I wasn't going to tell this story until I saw that, and then I'm thinking about I'll just tell this story. So, as everybody, because you mentioned Vice, well, A&E is doing a biography on apparently everybody that's ever stepped foot in a WWE ring at some point or another. And they contacted me, one of the producers, about doing something for the Kane biography that they're working on. And I haven't signed any NDAs with anybody. And if anybody thinks I'm bullshitting about this, I've got documentation. So just take the ride on the story with me, folks. And I was thinking about it because, here's the thing. And I've told you this the past few years, I do not want to have anything to do with an officially either something that is associated with a specific wrestling promotion or that is authorized, endorsed, or done in conjunction with, as the A&E programs are with the WWE. So it's the same thing, because then if I get on here and I say, well, such and such was good, then all the wise asses can say, well, that's because he's taking their money. And if I say such and such sucks, then all the wise asses can say, well, but he's not too good to take their money, even though it's blah, blah, blah. So you can't win, right? So I do the independent projects with our folks' advice and whatever. But I always, because of not only our Smoky Mountain wrestling relationship, but also the gimmick with Kane and Glen as a person up until he's apparently lost his mind. Actually, he hadn't lost his mind. He's lost his integrity because he's a smart guy, so he knows he's propping up criminals and fucking crooks, liars. But I was mulling over the email, and then, I said, I'm going to stick to it. And I wrote the guy back, and I said, and also the last line that I wrote him back was, and to be honest, the biggest risk, I might even do something for Kane or for Glen from what I've always thought of him as a wrestler and a person, except now that he's come out in such full-throated endorsement of the fucking pig that squatted in the White House for 4 years and tried to overthrow democracy, I would be called a hypocrite, and rightfully so, by my audience if I was to praise him at this point in a public forum. So I declined. And that was my instinct to do that. And then I sat there for a few more hours thinking, well, blah, blah, blah. Should I have done it? Should I do it? And then came my dinner and everything else. And right before I go to bed, I'm checking for an email on a completely unrelated subject that I need. And I click on the Twitter machine just in time to see somebody has tweeted me a picture of Glen Jacobs, Mayor Kane, at some type of, it looked like very empty, sparsely attended function with not only with Lauren Boebert, the only ever elected politician in the United States of America whose suspected fathers outnumber her IQ points. And to top it off, coming back from the distant past and from irrelevancy and under a rock somewhere, Dana Loesch, the soulless Stepford wife ghoul, who every time kids get slaughtered by one of these gun nuts in a fucking school somewhere or whatever, comes out and tries to shriek and shrew and sell people more guns, and her toadying fucking silent movie villain beard wearing husband who carries her goddamn jockstrap and Twitter account around, Chris Loesch, and praising them for, and here's the thing I'm going to say about that, and then we'll get back to whatever you were looking up. Glen Jacobs isn't a stupid guy. That means he knows exactly what Donald Trump is and exactly what he's done. and he knows exactly what the rest of these Republican fucking assholes, politicians, and personalities that he pats on the back and puts his arm around are and what they do. And he's putting up with it for fucking votes. And I never thought I'd have to say that about a guy like that. But he's not stupid and gullible enough to be sucked into believing any of that shit, the election denying and the whole 9 yards. And he never seemed like an asshole that would naturally want to associate with people that fucking put up with multiple people being slaughtered every fucking day and all that other shit. So he's doing it for the votes because he's chosen the party who relies on the stupid, the ignorant, the gullible, and the repugnant for their votes because nobody else will vote for that shit. So trust your first instincts, folks, because mine was right. It wasn't 6 hours after I saw that I sent that email that I saw that picture.
I think that's one of the things that, from what I understand from other people who may be disappointed in him who know him personally, the feeling that, okay, he was into Ayn Rand and everything, but he knows better. He's doing this. This is an act. This is a performance. This is pandering to what some would argue is the lowest common denominator. And that's the thing that I think bothers everyone. The fact that everyone believes he knows better and has chosen to do this because of what it would personally gain him.
And apparently it's working because, I mean, let's face it, as far as an elected Republican, he is goddamn Albert Einstein. From the party of, Marjorie Treason Green and historically Sarah Palin. And let's not forget all the other dipshits that they've tried to float, both male and female, into and have successfully put into office to now say stupid things on a regular basis. So, anyway, trust your instincts. And watch out for those German shoe companies. You never know what's going on there.
Yeah, when someone burns their family alive, maybe you shouldn't give them a second chance.
Now, are you talking about the German shoemakers?
I'm talking about Kane. I was talking about Kane.
Okay, well, you got to be specific here. We've bopped around a little bit.
Hey, one last thing before we wrap up everything here.